Good stuff. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
This thing on?
It is on, I think.
Plug it, unplug it a bit, Miles.
I
That's
really
always
hope
works.
it's on. Matt's
Plug it,
gonna
unplug
kill
it.
me if I don't do this right.
You didn't hit like all the erase prior content button, did you?
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
man.
Yeah. So welcome to the one and only episode of Always Strikes Last.
Yeah. If you thought to yourself, I really want to listen to a competitive Age of Sigmar podcast with a nice hobbyist feel in terms of the audio recording, you've come to the right iteration.
Absolutely. I'm Miles and I'm joined by my host Jack, and today we're welcoming onto the podcast two guys from who played in the Six Nations, which just happened recently. We've got from Team Ireland, Captain Gary Mullen, and from Team Wales, Mathmallow. Welcome, guys, to the show.
Welcome.
Cheers. Yeah, good to be here. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So, the Six Nations was, I guess, was it 2 weekends ago at this point?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's right.
that sounds
Yeah.
right. Okay, so really, we're really nailing it with the timely, the timely journalism here.
It's okay. It's taken us 2 weeks to recover anyway.
Yeah,
Definitely.
fair enough. I think there's been like zero chat in the Irish team chat, so like, it's just like, I'm done. I don't want to play this game anymore. But yeah, so Six Nations held this year in Sweden for the very first time. Very, very exciting. How was it? I didn't get to go. How was the venue? How was the event?
The venue was really nice. It was super handy. So like we only had to get a single train that was like 15 minutes from Copenhagen. You get out of the train station and the venue's like right there. So that was pretty cool. There was a couple of other games on as well, like Horus Heresy and 40K stuff. I didn't get to see much of it though.
That's fantastic, though. Nice
Yeah.
and easy flight in. You know, that's always nice when you're doing a travel tournament.
Yeah. It caught me off guard just how close it was to the train station, to be honest. When I got there and a couple of my teammates were there already, and they were like, "Yeah, when you come out the train station, look right." And I didn't quite appreciate just how like close that meant, but yeah, it was like
That's fantastic. Now I was told that there would be a cool underwater train tunnel with a glass ceiling. Did that actually pan out?
I don't know if I missed it or we didn't have the glass ceiling carriage,
Okay,
but we
because
didn't see it. I didn't
I
see
was
it.
promised
No, we
this,
didn't get
and
that.
obviously,
It's like a VIP
Yeah.
train somewhere with no one
Yeah.
told us about it.
Yeah.
realistically, I
Yeah.
feel like that is probably a lot cooler in concept than it would be in actuality. Like, you know, the sludgy bottom of whatever that is, the North Sea.
yeah.
Yeah,
As,
so they
as, as, as someone who works in the North Sea, I can attest. Not amazing.
No, it's not you know, a bountiful tropical reef teeming with psychedelic wildlife and wonders of the deep.
So Mathmallow, you're on record as North Sea not recommended.
Yeah, that's okay.
I could
No.
totally see that though. It's just like a bunch of silt against like a glass pipe,
Yeah,
maybe
right.
with a gar looking at you like a good day.
Like, Jack, can you imagine if the airport tunnel to Logan had a glass ceiling? Like, that'd be awful.
Yeah, it would just confirm everything we suspected about the Charles River, but never were brave enough to swim and confirm.
It'd be terrible.
Maybe we did go through it, and it was just so black we just didn't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Fair enough. It was really far down. Oh, well, that's probably for the best. I was wondering about that. Anyway, on to the actual event, the thing we're supposed to be talking about. So yeah, Six Nations, it's gone on for a number of years. I think every country's hosted it at this point. Yeah, that sounds right. I wasn't there for a couple of them,
Yeah.
at least for the first. But I think
has England hosted it?
I don't know. Well, they
That's
will
the-
soon.
that's the new one. Yeah, Yeah.
Are they next year's one, are they? Are they
I
hosting
don't.
next year?
I
Okay.
have no idea, but I would guess maybe because I think Wales have hosted it twice, and then
Okay.
we've had Ireland
That's it.
and Sweden.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Fair enough. So for the folks at home, it is a teams tournament, 8-person teams tournament, just like Worlds format or just like AOS Masters, which we covered not that long ago, and with teams from England, Wales, Ireland, Northern Ireland, and Sweden. Did you get all of them? And Scotland. Sorry, Scotland.
I was gonna say I thought Scotland would be in there.
Yeah.
You were this close to being on the
I'm
list.
consistent. It is remarkable how frequently I try to do that list and I lose one. Like, and it's a different person, it's a different team every time. It's not consistent. It's not like I'm consistently losing Scotland, but
At least you're an equal opportunity offender. I mean, this is good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Mathmallows, how was Team Wales this year?
It was good. Yeah, it was really good. We had a sort of 2 years ago. We had a fair bit of drama with the team. So the Worlds and this sort of Six Nations and next Worlds is like our recovery arc, I guess.
Okay.
So yeah, it was really good. We had a really strong team. We had a 14-year-old.
Oh wow.
Which is yeah. He's a guy called Natty. He is if you've ever been to Swansea, if you know anything about Swansea, he is the most like chav Swansea person ever. He's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he printed out like so he's 14, but he will beat you and he will happily like promote the fact that he is a child and he's beating you.
Nice.
So so he had like
that's amazing.
He had these like 3-inch sticks that were like you got beaten by a child that he'd give to you if you lost. So yeah, he's great.
I can really respect leaning into that too. That's amazing.
Yeah. No, but it was good. We didn't take it too seriously because it was a bit weird because we didn't know there was like because the build up was a bit awkward because obviously we had the new battle scroll. But we knew it was coming, but we didn't know whether it was going to come out the week before this deadline or the list after. So we didn't know whether to put like a bunch of work in to then it not matter or do a bunch of work and then like, it was a bit of a weird sort of middle ground.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, we were pretty happy with what we went in with. Yeah, it was good. No, definitely.
And you guys took second, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We managed to fit. It was very close. But yeah, we managed.
That's awesome. I mean,
very cool.
Considering England seems to win it every year, and
True.
And they've got like 10 times more people than anybody else does.
Yeah.
in their country. You know?
Yeah.
I did look that stat up. It's like, yeah, whatever. You know, you guys did great, and especially for not taking it too seriously. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. We were super happy. Yeah, it was really second was we came fourth last year. So our aim was to try and podium. So we were super happy with second. So yeah, no, really happy.
That's awesome. Gary, how did Team Ireland do? He asked,
not quite as well as Wales.
Was it third, 3 places removed, or?
Yeah. No, we came in last place. We didn't do particularly well, but we kind of went in with like an attitude of kind of building up the community, right? Like Miles, I think you kind of started that with Worlds last year. There was a bunch of new players, and then with Six Nations this year, there was I think 2 people that hadn't played international, and then 3 or 4 returning players that hadn't been around or on the scene. So I guess the main focus is just try build up our pool of players, and I think that went pretty well. We got a lot of people like getting more experience, so we were pretty happy with how people went. Probably like we could have definitely worked on like the team side of things more, like playing teams Warhammer as a team rather than singles. But kind of with the new edition and stuff, we are definitely taking a lot more relaxed approach to this.
Absolutely, and yeah, no, and I have been following the Welsh team's sort of recovery arc and talking with Owen here and there about how you guys do your team leadership and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's considering that you guys have a very similar community to the one that we have in Ireland, I think that's a really good thing to try and emulate because you guys seem to have had a lot of success with it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's to be honest, I think the home nations in general, I think there's a lot more of a community sense in those teams, generally speaking. I think if you look at like Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and and Wales and more so England these days, to be fair. But there's always that kind of sense of like, okay, we're all going to do this together, and it's like if we're gonna try and build up this team, it's going to be a nation team, and it's definitely got more and more that way in the past few years, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because that's what we want, 100%.
Nice. Well, so why don't we go through round by round real quick and just give some highlights, lowlights. Mathmallow, do you want to kick us off? Who are you playing round one?
Yeah, so day one was a gauntlet for us. So round one we got England.
Okay. Nice
Very
and easy
nice.
out of the gate.
Nice and easy out the gate. So yeah, so going first against England it's a blessing and a curse because obviously it's actually a bit different than a normal tournament in Six Nations because you actually know when you play everyone. So it's not like a normal tournament where you get the first round, you get loads of information, then the rest of them you don't. So you can only play for round one. Yeah, because you actually get all of them. So it's a bit less information that you're getting. But knowing that you're going in round one, you still get that kind of like, okay, like you can do a lot more prep, you get a lot more time to build up for it.
Sure.
So yeah, so we tried not to overthink it too much, I guess, going into
that's
it
good.
because you can, right? But it was good that we'd know where we'd sit with England based on that, based on how that round went effectively after that point.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a really, really good round. It was very close. I played Hazel, and we had a lovely
Okay.
game. So
Very
I was
nice.
playing Lumineth at the tournament.
Okay,
and
nice.
she was playing Slaves. I won 13-7, so it was a close game. And we ended up, the total round ended up, it was 84-76 or something like that.
Oh wow, that's
So
good.
it was
that's very
really
tight.
close. Yeah. So we were very happy because we've never come that close at all to England before. So we were really happy with how that sort of like panned out.
Fair enough. Nice.
Um,
And they didn't bring any slouches either. So like, all people who I would be not excited to get paired up against at a 5-round tournament. So
Yeah.
I mean, they're all 5-0 players. Like,
yeah,
so yeah, absolutely. We were very happy.
absolutely.
Um,
Gary, how was the round one for Ireland?
Yeah, it was okay. We played Scotland round one, so we were kind of happy enough with how we did ish. I think it might have been like the start of the lads realizing that like we might not do as well as we did last year at Six Nations where we podiumed.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I think everyone was pretty happy. For myself, like I found it was really hectic. Like so doing the pairings and then jumping straight into a game and trying to get team chat in and get everything organized. So that was definitely a learning curve for me. But yeah, it was good. It was a good round one. The Scottish lads were great to play. I think everyone enjoyed their games, you know.
Nice. And you were also playing Slaves, and who'd you
Yeah.
play against?
I played Alistair. I think Maxwell was the second name. So I played Disciples of Zinch again on limited resources, which I'd
Nice.
actually practiced, like the Sunday before, I think, with yourself, Miles. So
Nice.
that was super useful.
Nailed it.
And yeah, I won by a couple of points, but not much, like something like 12-8 or something. He kept it pretty close, so it was good.
Nice. Gary, what style of slaves to darkness are you bringing for this one?
Yeah, so I had Be'lakor, 6 Varangard, 10 Chosen, some Furies, and some Knights, and then the Nurgle, the Chosen are marked Nurgle. So I quite like that hammer and anvil style of like having the Chosen in the middle of the board. I think the other variant that was there was the 12 Varangard, which was just a lot more movement. But
Oh yeah, the classic oops all Varangard.
yeah,
I know it well.
that seems to be good every edition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we'd be remiss, Mathmallow. I know you were running Lumineth this time, but it's just for the mental picture of what you were bringing. What was your list like in these games?
Yeah, so my list was the I don't want to play Warhammer list, which is
foxes. Sly foxes.
yeah, so 2 foxes, 10 wind chargers, 20 sentinels, techless, and the wind mage and the river blades. It was very impressive in greens.
Nice.
I heard that one's a lot of fun for your opponents. So.
Yeah, it's not great. It's because you basically get 2 shooting phases and 2 movement phases. Which is not ideal when every other army has a single ability on their war scroll. It felt very, very imbalanced in some matchups for sure.
Still,
That's cool though.
cool.
I know Will also took a split Rue and Sentinel list, it seemed like he thought everybody was going to go all Roos or all Sentinels. And so he wasn't sure about it. I think you probably did a little bit better than he did, not having the scores in front of me. But it's interesting, just interesting to see that you had came to a similar conclusion.
Yeah, I think with the Lumineth lists, you can kind of, I mean, not that it matters anymore, but
Sure.
but when we could write those lists,
Mhm.
two foxes just meant that if you have two foxes in your list, like 80% of the lists in the games can't play you. Like, because if you have like Kragnos or you have like any kind of monster at all, you're like, okay, I can't play it, I guess.
Sure.
So yeah, it was really weird. And then like you say, the Roos and the Sentinels, just having both of them, like it helps quite a bit. Because you have so much, you have a close range threat and long range threat, and yeah, it just adds up pretty well.
Very
Nice.
cool. Very cool.
So you guys had an epic round one. What was the lunch?
Ooh.
Swedish
question.
lunch.
Guess. What do you think it is?
It was fish.
No, we were in Sweden.
It's probably lutefisk.
It was meatballs.
No.
It was meatballs.
Definitely.
Yeah, we had meatballs for lunch.
Nice.
Classic.
Yeah.
They had those little ones from IKEA that are so good.
Those
I
are
hope they weren't.
IKEA.
I hope the ones you had weren't from IKEA.
Yeah, those are like the meatball ambassador to the States for sure, but I'm sure they could have done better for
you. Yeah, we had it was meatballs for lunch. It was obviously we had a choice. We could have meatballs or vegetarian meatballs. But the best part of we haven't even mentioned the best part of the venue, which was that we had, I don't know why. So we had 3 unlimited things at all times. So we had water, which is great.
Very good.
The other 2 things are slightly. So the second one was popcorn. Okay.
Good.
Picking up unlimited popcorn. Hotel provided unlimited popcorn and ice cream.
All right.
That seems dangerous.
So there were like a few of my teammates had ice cream like for breakfast. They were like, we hadn't paid for breakfast. They were like, oh, we'll just have some ice cream instead. It just like filtered through ice cream. So that was unlimited. So why not? Yeah. But that was lunch.
Yeah.
One, I think.
That's amazing. So going into round 2, who did you guys play?
So continuing the gauntlet, we had Sweden.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So
that's with a home ground advantage too. Oh, man.
Yes. So we went into this one a bit more sort of fun because we played Sweden were obviously it's a different team for both of us, but Sweden were our last round at Worlds, in like the most recent one, and we went into that feeling pretty good, and we got pushed out pretty hard. We did pretty badly in that matchup, so we were keen to sort of prove ourselves a bit. I played into slaves again.
Nice.
But this time my opponent was very, very good. She played around the woods very well. I couldn't kill the Baron guards. We were playing on Star Strikes, which I'd put as a green, which was brave of me. And my coach came to me afterwards and was like, "Yeah, we got you the green Star Strike slaves." And I was like, because it was the chosen Baron guard list, and I was like, "Wait, did I put that as a green?" So I did end up. It was a very close game, but I ended up losing. I think it was 14-6. I think it was 14-6, 13-7 in the end.
Okay.
So it was a close game, but yeah, no. It was one of those ones where it was like because that matchup is often priority, because it's the 2 Varangard genuinely kill a Lumineth army.
I got you.
So you have to you have to keep them away, but you can. They don't like half move. If you ever got half move off and they don't get 3/6 charge, the game is very unplayable for them. But yeah, so that was a good game, but yeah, ended up losing that one. But then the round, we ended up, I think it was a slightly bigger loss than England, just about. But it was like 2 points more. So I think it ended up, I think it was 85-75, I think is what it ended up.
Okay.
Something like that. So again, very, very close. But yeah, we just got the two small losses effectively against those guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Gary, we played Northern Ireland.
We did, yeah. So these are guys we play like most weekends, right? Or every second weekend. Except the team was a bit different this year for Northern Ireland because I think they had a few drops and they had a few ringers brought in. So
Mhm.
one of them being the captain of the Danish team, right? Christopher.
Oh,
Probably one of the best players in the world, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
think.
I,
So
the
I
and
remember, so I didn't, the name didn't like register with me when I saw him, and then I was like poking through the stats, and I was like, Jesus, he's beat Freddie Leggett. Like,
yeah. Um
anyway,
So yeah, so I had to be. I was actually very conscious of who I paired into him, right? Because I was doing the
sure.
pairings, and I was like, who would actually like not just see his reputation and be like, okay, this is I'm over, right? Like it's no point, it's on the table. So we ended up putting Dave McCarthy into it, and I think like he really enjoyed getting to play against a player of that level, and he got a lot out of that game. So
Nice.
that was pretty good.
Dave does not back down from a challenge, and
Not at
that
all,
is yeah, something great
not at
about him.
all. Um, I think he scored it like as to his matrix, which was good as well.
Nice.
So that worked out. Myself, I ended up playing Solomon Morrow, who's like the reigning champion of Ireland
It's the
since
all
I've been on
Irish
the
camp.
scene. He just if he's at a tournament, he's getting first place, right? So I played him on Scorched Earth, which isn't a great mission for me, and Night Hunt, which isn't a great matchup. There's a bad matchup and a bad mission. I got my 5 points. I was pretty happy with that.
There you
And it was an
go.
enjoyable game, right? Solomon's really nice to play. Then for the round, we got capped again. It's going to be a
Running
running thing
theme.
throughout this tournament. But it was actually our worst round. We got 53 points, I think, is what we managed to actually score.
Mhm.
And that really hit like the team morale, I think, that round because like we're quite I'd say over the last couple of years we've gotten quite used to beating Northern Ireland at like either team day events or worlds and
Sure.
stuff. So that definitely hit the morale. I think in fairness from this point on though, like it does like the guys are much happier with how they're playing. They start to get a lot more settled in. So but yeah, it was a good round. It's a great round.
Gotcha. So you guys are both, 2 rounds in, 0-2 in terms of the team stats, but
Yeah.
there's some stories yet to be written. Though I will say that like a subtle substitution of where the ringer is the Danish team captain in Northern Ireland. How does that work? What are the rules around this substitution?
I think Six Nations is pretty relaxed on mercenaries. I don't think there's anything like formal in the pack on that.
They had two other guys who were mercenaries as well, like
Yeah,
because
Pete
they
and his mate, I think,
yeah, I think they had
Tom.
three last minute drops, one of which was like it was like a that weekend drop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
think
tough.
Tom.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I think Tom stepped in the week before, because Tom
That
was
sounds
going to
right.
be coach and then stepped in, and then they had another drop, and then Christopher was playing because there was a singles event as well.
Okay.
I think he was playing, so he jumped in there.
Okay.
I think is how it ended up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, anyway,
it is.
it's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
At least the
yeah,
show must go on, right? That's the nature of these things.
yeah, yeah. It was funny the day before when we got the news that they were when we read the lists
Yeah.
because like our captain hadn't told us because he wasn't with us, so we read the lists and we were like, I don't recognize that list. And then Christopher Carlsmoser, we were like, uh, we were like, that's a different caliber.
That can't be right.
Yeah.
Especially
Um,
right since he was replacing Craig Morrow, right? Who
Yeah.
is a lovely guy and love to play him. He's fantastic. But he's not the same level player.
No, no. To be fair, to Christopher though, I chatted to him on the weekend, and he's because the sort of the insinuation, the joke me made was that sort of we're playing non-league football and Ronaldo showed up.
Sure. Yeah.
But then to be fair to him, he's only played before this tournament. I think he played like 7 games of this edition.
Okay.
So yeah, so I spoke to him after his game 1, and he was like, "Yeah, I haven't played against Nighthawk before, so I charged it turn 1, and that didn't work." So, so I think yeah. So I don't think it was necessarily the sort of insane super sub
No,
we thought it
fair.
was going to be. If that
No,
makes
no,
sense. Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
No, that's all good. Okay, so round two in the bank and going into the final one of the day. This is the part that's so brutal about Six Nations is that we cram it into 2 days.
Yeah, I think we were playing till
Yeah.
9 p.m. That day, which is just like
Yeah.
12 hours of constant Warhammer is a bit much.
It does seem like
Yeah.
a lot. Is it how many games total, guys? Just for all the Six Nation neophytes out there, I want to get them
It's
the whole
5
picture.
because
5? Okay,
everyone
yeah.
plays everyone.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And so 3-2 like a GT, but with all the extra layers of conniving and strategizing around the pairings.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're fueled by meatballs and ice cream, so
Yeah.
probably a
true.
net
Nice.
win.
So who did Wales play round 3?
So we had Scotland round 3.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So so we had Scotland round 3. We were. I mean, I'm sure everyone was just exhausted at this point.
Yeah.
Like it was at this point, you've already played 6 hours of Warhammer. You don't like it's the only format that makes sense, but like it is that game 3 is rough. And then so we played against Scotland. We were pretty happy with how the pairings went from what I remember. And then obviously we love the Scots. They're great. But then I played against slaves again.
Nice.
it's my thing on. But I got excited. So I was tired. I had a monster before I went into to that game, and one of my teammates he's kind of he turned into a bit of a hype man, and I got like he was like, okay, Matt, this is going to be a big win for you, and I got like convinced. So I was playing slaves on the Vice. I went aggressive turn 1 with my Lumineth list. So at the end of my turn 1, I'd controlled it a little bit. But at the end of my turn 1, all my wind chargers were dead. I'd killed 1 Varangard, and my Sentinels were tagged in combat with Varangard.
Oh shit.
So I very quickly sobered up. I was like, that's not meant to happen. But luckily I won the prior, so never punished. And then we got a big 17-3 in that one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So just win priors and the game's easy.
That's the trick.
I'm gonna write that
down. Yes, that was a sobering moment for sure. And then as a team, we did pretty well. I think we ended up getting, I think it was either 85 or 90 points or somewhere around that.
Nice.
So like because the caps are so narrow in this, because the
Yeah,
caps 60 to 100,
I was wondering
60
about
to
that.
100, the caps are like super small, so it's actually like every point actually does matter quite a lot. But we ended up like 85 or 90 something like that. So not a cap, but like we were pretty happy with that score, and it's just gotten into a very well prepped team. So
It seemed like it.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The caps were narrow this time around. Obviously it's a new scoring, right? Since we had so long on the AOS 3 where the scoring was pretty standardized, and now we have a new type of scoring that's pretty standardized. And I like that it's 50 points for every mission, or 50 is the max score in every mission. But it's just interesting to see the caps are obviously Ireland would have done worse if the cap had been lower. But the fact that a team hit the cap every single round felt weird too. Yeah,
Yeah.
Anyway, Gary, how did round 3 go?
Yeah, so I ended up playing Alexis. So I was playing Cities of Sigmar or against Cities of Sigmar on the Vice, which I thought I was pretty happy with that, like slaves on the Vice, and I'll take that. But kind of I hadn't played against cities before, didn't really know what the list did, and was completely unaware of the sheer amount of debuffs that can be placed on my Vanguard. I think at like one point they were like -2 to hit, -1 attack, -1 to wound. To the point where like they charged 6 Dark Riders or 5 Dark Riders and failed to lift them. And then got stuck. So that game finished, I think, 14-16 to Alexis. I just couldn't shift him off the center. He got the hammers in the middle. He put 20 Fusiliers in the middle of the board. I couldn't lift them. Overall for team, we got capped again. We got 56 points. So I do think though at this point, like everyone was a lot happier with how they had played their games, even if we were exhausted. I think people were kind of like maybe a bit frustrated with how they played the first two rounds. And I think like as a team, we definitely started performing a bit better now. Like I remember to do, pre-team chats at this point, as something I was supposed to be doing. So
Nice.
we're starting to find, we're starting to find our feet. But yeah, it was good
Nice.
and very, very exhausting at this point. So
I mean, definitely, one of the goals of sending new people to these events is the shock and awe of the caliber of the event,
yes,
right? It's be like, no, this is where you need to be, right? And it's rough. The first couple times you see it, you're like, oh shit, what was that? What just happened? I don't even know.
yeah,
I
and
thought
like
this was supposed to be the easy round.
a lot of the feedback from the guys was just like, I hadn't played that mission, I hadn't played that list, and now I've learned so much and could do much better.
Sure.
So
That's
it's good for them to
fantastic.
see that. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. It may be kind of an interesting question, though. It could be a massive rabbit hole. This isn't always strikes late, so we have to be careful, right, Miles? But
Yeah.
the average number of games that folks have had in the edition at this point, because it's not really that late in the edition, and people's schedules sometimes mean that even in a situation like this, you're running the stuff for the first time, you have that gotcha. You have that kind of experiential learning where it just smashes your foot, and then you're like, okay, now I have internalized this lesson.
Yeah, I think I had like maybe less than 30 games going into this. I'd say most of the lads are in the same boat on the Irish team.
Like around 30. I think that's a stat be really interesting to see across the teams as a whole and see if that correlated with how folks ended up doing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, we know that England has played 126 games per player, right? Obviously, since the addition.
That might be more than our entire team, right? On one player.
I mean, Mathmallow, what's that like for Wales? Do you have a sense of that number for you guys?
Yeah, I think for us it's a bit more varied because we have some people because the problem is that so like for me I can never play in real life because I don't live near anyone. So
Okay.
for me my game's always TTS. So some of us play a lot of TTS, some of us play none, and then the people who play none inherently play. So they're probably in like the 30 to 40 game category, whereas there's like 2 or 3 of us who play a lot, and we're probably close to that 100 mark.
Okay.
I'd say. So I'd say there's probably like me and a couple of others who are probably close to that 100 mark. And yeah, probably played like 4 or 5 tournaments before Six Nations.
Sure.
So then yeah, but yeah, it's a bit more varied for us. We don't have like everyone didn't play 100 games. That's for sure.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
What was it? We were talking to somebody from the Australian team, and obviously they at Worlds, and they are a big TTS team because Australia is a huge place. It turns out. Who knew? And it just looks like that little island on the map. Like how big could it possibly be?
Deceptive, really.
But yeah, they were saying like, yeah, we get like 22 games a week or some nuts. like I can't drive to the shop that often. Yeah.
That's true. I think maybe TTS is the secret to getting a little bit more regular exposure. Yeah.
I think we've started using it a bit more for this tournament. A few of the guys have kind of gotten the TTS. I think they're playing most of their weekly games on it now. So
sure. Beats the traffic on the M50 anyway.
It definitely does.
Totally fair on that. I'll get on that myself.
So day one in the bank and a night on the town for everyone.
I think we just went to McDonald's, which is literally next door, and then went to bed.
Yeah.
We're all exhausted at that point.
No one managed to get that stinky fish that only tourists eat that I heard so much about.
No. We did go into town, but not for. We didn't go for drinks or anything.
No, fair enough.
Reasonable evenings, like a nice quiet dinner, and then like a quieter McDonald's dinner. Yeah.
No,
not the Ireland team.
It's too much. It's too much Warhammer. I think last time I played it, I like literally collapsed after the end of the last round. I was like, nope, everybody fuck off. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
This does make sense. It seems like an awful lot for day one.
There was. They did space. There was a lot of time as well, right? So like, I didn't realize it. especially round one, how much time we had. We had like half an hour for pairings, and then we had like 10 or 15-minute chat with your opponent, and then the clock starts.
Oh
So
wow.
like you had a lot of time. Probably didn't use it very well day one, but it was there. And then we had like an hour and a half for lunch, and then another half hour between rounds
Yep.
2 and 3. So it was quite spaced out.
Okay.
Has its, ups and downs.
Yeah. Mm.
Sounds good. So then okay, day 2. Quick breakfast of ice cream, and then into round 4. Am I right? Do you guys play each other?
Five,
Was it
round
We played.
five.
Five.
round 5? Okay, so
Yeah,
what's the who did you guys play well round 4 Mathmallow?
So I played Northern Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had Northern Ireland. So yeah, so we were like day 2. We were like, okay, we get the fun games. We get the high energy kind of more charismatic games, which was always fun. So yeah, no, so we were really excited. I didn't get what I like. There was conversations in the morning where we were like, do we need to play day 2? We were like, can we just we were like, is it just funnier if Ireland, Republic of Ireland get free caps and and then suddenly they can podium, isn't so we decided I guess we'll play.
That's funny.
So
I kind of
So-
wish you guys had done that though, Mathmallow.
Yeah,
We could have made like
that's-
Fear the Emerald Isle t-shirts for next
Yeah.
year. It'd been amazing.
would have been great. But we decided it probably wasn't the most honorable thing to do, so we played. Yeah, so it was so I played against I played against the list, right? I still don't understand the list. It's Feck with Usharan with the OBR Regiment of Renown.
Oh, is this Johnny's?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it died very fast into Lumineth. Is the because the problem is obviously the cool part about it is that it can throw end spells really well. I have Techless, so that's not that helpful, generally speaking. And his whole army is built around effectively 2 monsters.
Sure. Okay.
It's kind of how it works. So that was a rough one, and we were playing on limited resources. And my army has 2 movement phases, so it's not great to play unlimited. So yeah, so that was a rough one with Johnny. We had a lovely time. We had a great time.
Nice.
And yeah, and we had a really good chat about everything. But it ended up being an 18-2 to me.
Oof.
Yeah, because you can never, like, it's basically impossible to 20 of someone now.
That makes perfect
like,
sense.
Like
Sure.
it's just because if you score 10 points at any point in the game, and then your opponent takes a double, that's already a 19-1. So is how the points works now. So you can never. It's really hard to get like more than that. But
Okay.
yeah. So I think I yeah. So it was a really rough matchup for him, and I sort of pushed that. And then we ended up getting, I think it was another 90. It was 90 points or something. It was 92 and 93, something like that.
Okay.
It's around in total.
We'll quote you on that. Right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. That's all good. It's all a matter of public record. People can go look.
Yeah. Well, I can't remember what the name of the website is, so I'll never know.
Oh yeah.
Ekin's like the Pokemon, right? Ekin.
Yeah, that was yeah.
That's great.
Oh man. Which means Gary, you guys had Team England this right?
Yeah, we had Team England. We had a hard day today, like with Team England and then Wales, followed by Wales. But yeah, the English guys were really great. Like they were super sound. Their captain and coaches were like they had a lot of support staff, whereas we didn't. So they were like, we know you can't do timeouts, but like if one of our players calls a timeout, if you're okay with it, we can come over and be a rubber duck for you guys, or if you need water or anything. So they were super nice.
That's very nice of them.
It was
Absolutely.
really appreciated. Because when it's just you definitely need a non-player at one of these events. I find like just to run water to do your timeout. So it was nice of them. I think we started playing as a team a lot better. So like the pairings went okay. Dave Smith got paired into like a red matchup, But like, we had a pre-game chat. I was like, look, you just need to get 5 points out of this. If you get your 5 points, as far as I'm concerned, that's a win, right? And he was able to go and do that, right? So that definitely, like, when you have that kind of mindset, it definitely flips like the team's mentality, right? And what they consider a good and bad round. So
Sure.
that definitely helped. I think
I
Footy
think
also. Sorry, go ahead.
no, absolutely. To that, once you get into that mindset of like, this is how many points I'm predicted to get, and if I get one more point than that, it is I've smashed it out of the park. You
Yep.
know, like I think I played Lori last year, and I got a 5 when I said I'd get a 4, and I loved it. Right? You know?
Definitely. Like, it's a
So-
win, right? Like, it's as good as a win, right?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. I crushed it.
yeah.
Everybody else let me down, but no.
I think that's the right attitude. Yeah, because if you play to that book, your win, like if everyone else did the same thing, you've done it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Gary, you were saying Floody.
Yeah, and then Floody managed to turn a red into a win as well. So he got 11 points out of that, which was great.
Oh, fantastic.
So my own game, I played Simon Weekly he was playing Disciples of Zinch, so second time playing Disciples of Zinch. Played it on shifting objectives, which I was pretty happy with that mission. He played super well, and we kind of brought it down to a draw, so it ended up 10-10. But
That's
really
very
enjoyable, great.
respectable.
Yeah, it was a good game. And then overall, the team, we got 60 points out of this. So we did get capped, but we earned all 60 of those points, right? So
Very
like
good.
going into this day, like I was like, right, lads, if we can just not get capped for one round, that's our goal for the tournament, right?
Well, and this is your highest scoring round
Yeah,
in
this is
England of all
it was,
so,
yeah. And we had like 2 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses. So it was definitely our best round. Yeah, everyone really enjoyed it.
That's
Nice.
fantastic. And so now the moment we've all been waiting for
The face-off
is
round.
the face-off round. How did it go?
So I think it went well.
I think it
guess.
went as expected.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think I think we were pretty confident after pairings. I think I was talking to my captain. I think, but we also our lists were very try hard, so it also makes sense. So I played against one of my favorite lists I've ever seen in the Stormcast list that you guys had.
Oh, nice. Alan's list.
Alan's list, yeah. And we had, it was, I had a really lovely game against Alan. It was really, really great. I almost clocked out because I spent way too much time talking to him.
Oh, he'll do that.
But yeah, we had a really lovely time. So the prosecutors tanked my army for way too long, way longer than they should have done, but they did a great job. But we were playing on 6 mission objectives.
Okay.
Which makes it a little bit hard for Stormcast armies to play the game. And eventually it kind of got picked off with me being able to shoot twice constantly. It's a lot. So it ended up being it was a 17-3 to me, I think, at the end.
Okay.
So it was a big win, but yeah, no, he played it really well. It's just really rough on that kind of mission where you have to be really wide. And he's got the what are they called? The only unit that also works in that subfaction for the 5 aboard.
Oh, the new Quester guys with their little buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Stormcast guys, like one of them. You know what I mean?
Like the new ones. They've got for every 3 of them, there's 2 little buddies.
Yeah. If they ever roll a 1, they die. Those guys. 3 units of those, which are inherently quite tanky and quite a risk to go into. But obviously, I don't have any combat, so it's a bit easier for me to play around them.
Sure.
So yeah, no. So we had a lovely time. I got a lot of I've been wearing my Alan t-shirt nonstop.
Oh, nice.
Because they're really, really nice. They're so comfy.
Yeah.
They're actually really comfy. So I really rate them.
Nice. Dude, those for the record, that's the same company that makes the Always Strikes Last t-shirts. So everybody should go.
Absolutely. So you heard it here from Mathmallow. His favorite t-shirt is effectively an Always Strikes Last t-shirt.
Yeah,
I think that's the way.
No, that's fantastic. I actually was really excited for Alan. I think he played really well the whole weekend. I was following obviously all the stats. And that's just a list that he's been playing and he's been championing. He's like, I really like this list. I play it well. I know it's not a meta list, but I enjoy it and I think I can do well with it. And he did. I think he did, yeah, played great. He's one of those guys who's just been playing Stormcast forever. You know?
He has like the deep knowledge.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's always fun. It's always really fun.
Absolutely. And Gary, how did your game go?
Yeah, my game was good. I played Greg against his Night Hunt. I think it was Jaws of Galette, the one where it's like 4 corner ones and then one in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was like, I got up to the table. He's like, look, it's gonna be a quick game, right? Because we're both like aggro armies or whatever. And then I just played it like super cagey and strung it out for like 5 turns or whatever, trying to score as many points as I could. Like I didn't play Night Hunt as I had as a bad matchup, so I kind of just played for points. Varangard just completely whiffed. Could not lift the horses, the hex rates. I think they were in combat for like 3 turns. But
Brutal.
yeah. But it was tiring. I was pretty tired by the end of it, but it was a good game. I think I finished 14-6 to Greg. I'd say like overall that again we like got capped again at 56 points. Everyone was pretty happy with the round overall. Like we got Dave's McCarthy. I think he played the net player or IDK, Dan Arnold.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Dave mained IDK for like the first month or 2 of this edition. I was like, well, if I get that, that'll go well. And it did go well. It was our one green matchup that actually ended up being green.
Nice.
So yeah. No,
I'm curious, what other greens did you have?
Yeah, I have it here in front of me. So we had Dave into IDK as green. We had the Skaven into Slaves was green.
Okay, yeah.
And then we had Will into Gloomspites as green. Which that's what we had.
Yeah. All of those make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the pairings look pretty good at the end of this, right? We had 3 greens, 1 red, and a couple of oranges.
I mean, that's what you're hoping for, right?
That's exactly, yeah.
So whether that data was accurate or not, good job, Gary, on the pairing.
Nice. Played the color game.
I mean, they didn't go. I mean, the only one that really flipped was the Gits one, right?
Yes.
That's the only one. Because you did win because our Slaves player got points where he absolutely should not have done.
Okay.
I think because he was on Scorched Earth as well.
It was, yeah.
Which is a really bad mission for him.
Yeah.
But he's only played Slaves of Darkness for like 2 years.
Fair enough.
He was fighting for his life to get those extra points, but I think he lost 9. I think it was a 11.
Yeah, 9-11. Yeah.
But I think so that is right for you. And then I think the only one that flipped was the Gits matchup. I think the rest of them went to plan. I think.
And that's Star Strike as well, right? So
yeah, so if it flips big, it flips quite big.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is because the cap's because it was 56, right?
Yeah. 56,
yeah. So when you think about it, if that goes the other way around, because what was the score in the end of that one? It was I don't remember.
16-4, I think, is what I have
so
here.
If that goes the other way around, then it's actually a lot of points, even though it doesn't seem like it. Yeah, because the caps are so close.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's good, and that's a matchup we just don't have in our community. We don't have anybody who's playing Gits at the moment, and so it's like, cool. We know in theory how this works. A couple people saw it up in the Northern Irish GT, but that was like a month ago.
Did anyone actually play it up there? Like even surprisingly, like Night Hunt, right? Like we didn't have a Night Hunt player, in the shop as such. So even getting reps into them was tricky. A lot of TTS had to be pulled out there.
Sure. Or we'd have or Kieran would play, but Kieran is obsessed with fielding as many black coaches as he's legally allowed to.
Oh, we have one of them as well.
Yeah.
Very fun. Not the one you're expecting to see.
Which is actually a really good build for Night Hunt. It's just not the best build for that. That was like, it's not the meta build that was in, that people were playing. So it wasn't good practice in that sense. But well, fantastic. If I hadn't said it before, congrats, Mathmallow, on second place. I mean, and again, considering England always seems to win it, you guys won it in my heart. because we're just gonna write them off as having won it.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will
Uh,
say, to be fair, this was the first year where I saw England have like sweating it out every round.
yeah.
Like every team pushed them for points this year, which is not historically how it's been.
Hmm.
And it was really nice to see not just like, okay, like the top three teams scrap against them and then that's it, right? And then they easy
Sure.
cap everyone else. It was really nice to see like every single round was really tense. Like, and not just against England as well, also us, also against Sweden. Every single team was, when they were playing against them, there was no guarantee of that cap. There
Sure.
was, because if we'd have played the old one, the old points, there actually wouldn't have been that many caps at all. Which is really interesting,
Sure.
to show like the narrowness of that cap. So it was really
Yeah.
awesome to see, like coming out of our own being like, oh, how's England getting? You're like, oh, they might actually not cap Ireland. Oh, okay, like that's interesting. Like,
Yeah.
like it was really nice to see like everyone having stuff to play for, which was really cool. So yeah, so there was like a cool dynamic there.
No, that's awesome. And I do think even since I've been part of the community over here, the wider Home Nations community, all the teams have gotten better.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, definitely.
we're all making good strides to raise the bar for everyone. So that's
That's
exciting.
definitely what you want to see, right? Like, everyone's sort of getting a bit more of a honed edge. The competition's really fierce, so it's really healthy.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I mean, even in our round, right? Like, sure, we capped, but like only just. And then if there's like two priors in, like
Hmm.
two key priors somewhere in that, let's say the Skaven get a bigger win and like the Gits matchups flipped, then Ireland get like 70 points or
Yep.
75 points. It's
Sure.
incredibly close round. So it really is like, it's really close actually. But it doesn't like the points don't reflect that.
Sure.
But it is like a lot closer than it's ever been, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, we ended up in second by 3 points. I think we beat Sweden by 3 points in total.
yeah, it was very tight there
So
at
it's
the end.
mega close.
Yeah, they ended up struggling against Scotland right at the end. I think
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was something that you guys did as a team? So I remember for Worlds, we had Owen on and we chatted with him about all the different team building stuff that you guys have been doing to and like I think you guys met a day early and did fire breathing or something fun like that, if I remember right. Did you guys do anything fun in preparation for this event as like a team building or?
So we didn't do anything quite as intense as everything
Sure,
like
yeah,
that.
that
was
really
yeah.
it's kind of jumping the shark in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Dan Arnold organized that last earlier this year when we did the
Yeah,
Worlds. We didn't know. He just led us to a field in the middle of Amsterdam
nice.
and was like, I've got an activity planned."
Yeah, nice.
And then sort of we met a stranger who was like, "Yeah, guys, it's safe to breathe fire. Don't worry." So
That's what you want to hear.
That's great.
but he set his standards high now. So now we expect, that's the problem. So next Worlds, I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, actual
But no,
jumping of sharks.
yeah.
That's a difficult bar to exceed.
Yeah, so this time we didn't actually do anything huge. We went out for food the day before. I was actually in Denmark. Me and one of the other guys went out a week early,
Okay,
and we stayed in Denmark for a week beforehand, just to kind of relax before. But yeah, so I did that. But then as a team, we just had like a kind of like a cozy night the day before, which I think most teams did. Some kind of like
sure.
just relaxing, that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, just to the problem was you couldn't really do anything intense because you had literally 12 hours of Warhammer day
Yeah.
one. So
That seems fair. Like literally any like extremely interesting idea going out all out would have been the most inadvisable thing.
yeah, like you can't.
Anything that you guys would improve on next time as a team? Anything you guys like? Oh, this didn't work out well. Like we thought this, we made this assumption going in, and actually, that was not the right assumption.
From my side, I think like building a team comp, like lists to target certain things, and then like practicing pairings, like the non-player, practices pairings weekly, maybe instead of a game, and like trying to figure out how you force certain pairings and what that looks like. That'll be pretty good. And then if everyone just plays against every list, not every list, but every army, right?
Sure, sure, sure.
Makes the event a lot easier rather than trying to figure it out there and then.
No, fair enough. Definitely trying to close those knowledge gaps is really hard.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything we did that we could do better necessarily. I think there's always more prep you can do. I think there's
Sure.
always more, like you can always play more reps, I guess. But I think the thing that I wish we'd done more of, or I hope in the future we will get more of, is that I really want more, like in between those Six Nations, I really want more, especially the home nations. I really want more scrims to happen effectively.
Sure.
Because there's no reason that because like we're all prepping for the same event, right? And we're all playing like like we need reps against Nighthorn. Like you don't have a Nighthorn player, or we need reps against Gits. You have Gits. We don't have Gits. Like there's no reason we can't just do like a okay, we've got a 2-week scrim, so just like 8 of us versus 8 of you.
Sure.
Play that game in 2 weeks time, and then just get like, it doesn't have to be competitive. It can just be play your games, get a feel for the lists, play against us, force those games to happen, like test those out and stuff like that. And I really want more of that to happen. So at last Worlds we did like 3 or 4 scrims before, but like doing it with your fixed lists that you're going into Worlds with is a bit weird because you're inherently trying to not hide stuff, but you're trying to be a bit weird about it.
Yeah, you're trying to be the KG. I get you. Yeah,
exactly right. So it'd be really nice if like going forward we can do them earlier. So then there's less. Oh, I'm trying out this list. Does it work? Okay, I played against. I think this list smashes Nighthorn. I played against a good Nighthorn player. I got rolled. Absolutely not. Like having that kind of like testing field, I think is something I wish. I hope. I don't know how it works, but I wish it was a bit better.
Sure.
Just because if some mad lad in Ireland goes, right, boys, I've solved the Slaves to Darkness problem.
There we go.
He's got someone to test it against.
It's 3 black coaches.
It was there all along.
But yeah, no, absolutely. And we've definitely seen in this season since Worlds really some great adoption of TTS among the lads, and just keep going on that. Just because as all of us are getting older and spreading out, it's harder to get to that one shop in Dublin that we all go to.
Yeah.
Which is Underworlds Gaming, and you should go check them out at underworldsgaming.ie. And they don't sponsor the podcast, but they should.
Absolutely. Take note, Underworlds Gaming.
No, absolutely. And we definitely tried to set up scrims with the Northern Irish before, even for Worlds, and it's so hard to get everybody to do it, especially to do an in-person one, which is what we were aiming for, but it's so difficult to get one of those with everybody's schedule. So I like your idea of being like, look, you guys have 2 weeks. We did the pairings. Here you have 2 weeks to play your game or whatever.
Yeah.
That's nice and easy. We'll have to start a GoFundMe for some people's computers.
We do also have some fiends on our team. So we've done scrims before where people have dropped out because obviously like life happens and whatever, it's a secondary game, right? And then we'll jump in. So we'll cover those. So if Ireland drop a player, I'll be like, all right, cool, I'll play against my teammate. Fine. Absolutely fine.
Sure.
Like, I'll learn that list and because some of us have more time than others, right? It's just how it is. So yeah, because there's no point trying to be, okay, I got a 20-0. Okay.
It's about practice, and more practice is good. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the big takeaways. Like if you can find those extra games, you're not going to be surprised by as many things.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you look if you look at historically, like Denmark, the last sort of 2-3 years, like has just been, they've won Worlds twice in a row now just from reps, like nothing else basically. Like they're all fantastic players obviously, but like the thing that sets them apart is just the sheer amount of games they play, and how much they know every single list.
No, absolutely. And I don't know, Gary, we were talking about this, and that you hear about some of the tryout processes of some of these bigger countries like France and Germany, where it's like, cool, everybody take an army and go get 200 games with it, and then we'll call you. It's like, I'm not going to get anybody to do that, especially not in person, like.
No.
So How do we maximize the amount of training that we do get? How do we get more out of that? How do we get, how do we prepare in other ways? It's tough, but it's always an interesting problem.
Yeah, like we were sitting chatting with Christopher, I think on the Saturday night, and he was kind of, giving an insight into how Denmark prepares. But one interesting thing was that like they were like, so say a basic chaos player wanted to practice against LRL. The basic chaos player knows how the LRL beats him, so he would just get the other player to do all the correct moves to actually win the game, and then the basic player was just trying to figure out how he, you know, gets points in the worst case scenario. So stuff like
Oh,
that is
sure.
actually
That's
really interesting,
interesting.
rather than having someone like pick up LRL and then like you beating them because they're only picking it up for the first time or whatever, right? Or they're doing you a
I
favor.
got you. Yeah, yeah.
So setting up those scenarios is it seems like a good way to practicing, right?
That's interesting. We did that. I did that against Richie when he was doing last edition. He had his Oops All Varangard, list, and it was like, okay, Richie, I know that if you get through my first layer of screens and you double me, like that it's really bad, right? Let's just run that like 4 times in a row. Yeah. Let me try to make this as bad for you as possible. You know? But yeah, that's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, well,
Did we get
guys,
to a good place?
I think we did, and we really had
Nice.
like a kind of a fun journey into like the heart of Six Nations with 1/3 of the nations. Gary and Mathmallow. Thank you guys so much for coming on and kind of running that through. It's really interesting to see how it all played out and to kind of get you guys' takes, perspectives, and experiences on it.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for having me on. It was great.
Yeah. Thanks for chatting. Always a pleasure.
No, absolutely, man. As always, like, comment, subscribe, do notifications. Check out our Patreon.
Lots of good stuff there.
What else
From
did I have?
the
I'm supposed there was a whole
Discord
list.
to the OnlyFans.
I just did my end of the episode video, and I can't remember what I even said.
I know. Well, you were doing that like in a moment of inspiration. I did
Yeah.
my one moment of inspiration before, but I had to redo it. But
oh, anyway, guys, thanks so much for coming on.
yeah. Thank
Hopefully
you
you
guys
had
so much.
fun.
I think we'd be
And now
remiss,
actually
Miles.
we get to play the fun game of who gets the last word. And the best part is that no one knows.
That's true. But real quick before we do, Mathmallow,
Okay.
Gary, do you guys have anything you want to shout out? Any things from your own
Good
sort
call.
of like things you're working on, you want to put out there in the ecosphere? Any ways people can reach out to you that you want to highlight? Or not?
I don't really have much. No. I'm on Twitter. If you want to reach out for any Team Ireland stuff, I'm happy to discuss anything. Or if you want to set up scrims, any other teams listening, then feel free to reach out.
Yeah. Likewise, always reach out to us. I'm on Twitter. Mathmallow is everything for me. I do have a YouTube channel as well. If you want to check that out, you are welcome to.
Nice.
Awesome.
Me and Big Phil have me and Big Phil and Quinn have a channel. It's called
Nice.
AOS.
That's fantastic. What's the title of Mathmallow? Is it just under your handle?
No, it's called AOS Crowd.
AOS Crowd, nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
If you want
Very good.
to check that out.
Yeah.
Please harass me for scrims, please.
This is also a key takeaway. Scrims must happen. I think that's a healthy way to prep for these big tournaments too.
I just think they're incredibly fun. That's what I find. Is you kind of get the TTS can be a bit of a slog sometimes when you play random games.
Sure.
And when you can play against people in like predetermined matchups with like you're trying to get positive stuff out of it. You don't need to be. I don't think that's 4.5 inches. I think that's actually 4.45. You could just be like, look, bro, it's like, it's fine. Which is nicer to learn from.
No, I like that. Having a bit of a purpose, really helps, drive up the excitement and the competitiveness, and yeah,
100%. And that I think is an excellent note. But we still haven't resolved the most burning question, Miles, of the last word.
Who gets the last word?
Who will have it?
So we have to just keep going.
Keep going.
Just have to keep going until
sort of like game of chicken with awkward pauses. You have to like stutter your speech, but Matt ultimately decides who wins because
the easiest stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He uses the godlike power of the
Okay.